We are live. We're talking today about the number one thing that keeps many, maybe all of us at some points, coaches, healers, visionary, transformation experts, transformation industry business owners from having all the clients that they want. This is on a theme of what I have been talking about here over the last couple of weeks. We're leading into our Inspired Offers training. So I'm going to jump right in. We're going to learn the number one mistake that many of us purpose-led entrepreneurs make that keep us from having all the clients that we want. And we're going to talk about why that happens and what to do about it. So I have the privilege, the honor of supporting some amazing business owners, huge experts at their craft, the transformation. They've experienced their own transformation. They've mastered many techniques, modalities, platforms, tools to help others to have the relationships they want, the health that they want, the well-being that they want, the peace of mind that they want, the productivity that they want, the business that they want. And so many of us who are in this space of expansion and transformation. I just noticed that I forgot to put my earrings on. So imagine me with these earrings on. I won't stop right now. So the one thing that sticks us up, holds us up, and feels awkward or elusive or confusing or overwhelming is that we don't make offers and invitations for people to work with us. We have been sold, it's not really a bill of goods, but we have been taught by the industry at this point all the different ways that we can get visible and grow our business and all the little tactics and tools and strategies that we need. We must have the thing that's hot and working now in order to get the clients that we want. But I've seen it time and time again, and I did it myself early on when I was first bringing my business online, is that I wasn't leading people to a direct invitation. And making offers is often the common fix for people who are being visible, feel like they've been trying everything to grow their business and get some clients, but they're not having the enrollments and the signups that they want. The first thing I want to look at when I'm working with someone like that is what is your offer? What are you inviting people to? Are you directly inviting people to? Because it's super easy to get caught up in having your freebie funnel do the inviting and your masterclass and your event and all the different things, your book that you got to have and the podcast that you got to have and the YouTube channel that you got to have. But are you actually leading those potential clients and intermittently, at least, if not, and consistently, making a direct invitation, telling them how you can help and inviting them to that conversation? So how to do that is elusive for many of us. And the next thing we're going to talk about. So the number one mistake that most purpose-led, spiritual, healer, coach, transformation expert, brilliant people that I have talked to, I myself also have made the mistake, is that I did not lead people consistently to an offer, honing in on the invitation. And that's why we are running your Inspired Offers next week and have built in a whole bunch of coaching support, because this can be a huge accelerant for your business when you hone in your confidence around offers. So the next thing we're going to talk about today is why we don't make offers. I wrote down my top 5 reasons that I can think of. And even people, whoa, my hair's sticking up. Even folks that I talk to who've been doing their coaching business for a while, maybe they've gotten to that 6 figures, maybe they've gotten past that 6 figures, but there's still a kind of delay or clunkiness to their business. They're not having the consistency and the rhythm that they want. And it always comes down to the offer. So I'm going to add one other thing. And maybe we'll get to that sixth thing because it just popped into my mind. I'm being so disciplined. All right. So the first thing we do is we don't want to make offers because the first mistake that we make, the reason why we don't make offers and invitations consistently is because we don't want to be gross, right? We don't want to be pushy and salesy and spammy. And let me tell you, I help people learn how to have those conversations and have their marketing and their messaging lead to that conversation as the obvious next natural step, so much so that it would be awkward for it not to happen. That happens too sometimes. People are like, I've been following you for years, but I didn't realize you could help me, right? So how do we have our messaging and our marketing and our consistent visibility come from alignment, reflect who we are, be more us, be more you, and have it lead to people signing up? That little lead to people signing up is the linchpin of your business, of your confidence, of your sustainability, of your impact, right? That moment when people sign up is the greatest possible expansion for them. So we miss that. We skip over it. We go dance around it because we don't want to be pushy. We don't want to be salesy. And then there's a lot of people who are being bold and direct and jumping into your messenger inbox, and they're like, hey, I noticed that you have this problem and I could help you, right? So if you want to take the edge off your fear or your uncomfortability around being too pushy, start by releasing and softening the judgment you may have. I'm going to just call it like it is, about those people that are showing up in your inbox. There's a way to do that, to be direct, by being more aligned and inspired and more who you are. And some people are just going right in with that formula. You can see the formula showing up. So instead of judging them and making them wrong, which actually helps us to avoid doing something that might be helpful, be curious, let them off the hook a little bit, and trust yourself, right? All of your business growth comes down to trusting yourself, all of your visibility, all of your making offers. So one reason why we don't make offers or invitations, this is not about being salesy and promo-y and spammy. It's the opposite. All right. It's about creating consistent visibility, showing up, teaching, serving, sharing your message, giving voice to your vision in a way that feels aligned and comes from your own creative inspiration, but also has people signing up, right? So our fear of being pushy is one of the reasons why we don't make offers or invitations as often as we could be. The second reason I jotted down here is that it just does feel so very vulnerable, which is why so many people do struggle with visibility at all, is it feels vulnerable. There's molecules behave differently under observation, and we are molecules, right? We feel it when we're stepping into this more direct, higher level expression of ourselves. It feels vulnerable. So sometimes we feel vulnerable and then we're just like, stop that. You should blah, blah, blah. And when we judge ourselves right after that feeling of vulnerability, it actually strengthens our resistance. So admitting that it feels a little vulnerable and then having the support you need on these other things that we're going to talk about. How do you do it without being pushy, so that you can embrace that vulnerability, own that vulnerability. I do it all the time because I feel vulnerable going live, and I help people go live all the time. I feel like, I gotta curl my hair, whatever it takes. So the vulnerability is a part of it. That means you're authentic and integrity, but it doesn't necessarily telling the whole truth. So again, you got to trust yourself. So allow for that vulnerability and then have the support you need in order to get clear on how would you do it without being pushy, right? Another thing that stops us is that we're just not clear how to say it. Right? We don't want to be that spammy weirdo who is all presumptuous in our messenger inbox or in our lives that we're doing, or when we're starting a group, or when we're talking to people, or when we're writing emails, or when we're speaking. However you're being visible, we don't want to if you don't feel clear about, well, how does that visibility lead to people signing up? Then it's much harder to do. You can end up getting visible and kind of, sharing lots of great value, but not having all the clients you want because you have not clarified, honed in the language, the messaging, the positioning of your invitation. And you might be doing all of those things, but if you don't get right to that moment of actually making the invitations because you're afraid of being pushy, or because it feels vulnerable, or because you're not clear on how to say it or what that would look like. That's a lot of what we do in our Message Magic Mondays. For those of you who are in our Dare to Soar to Six Figures and Beyond, that's what we do, is give you that, oh, I can just say it that way. That seems so easy, right? And when you have that level of support, you're going to not skitch around that offer or that invitation. Remember that your offer and your invitation is this heightened moment of possible transformation. If people choose to say yes, that is a sacred decision that they're making. And if you never make the invitation, they never have the opportunity to step into being supported, having your help, getting where they want to go. Right? So we're not talking about you got to make offers and sell. That's not it. Selling is serving. Selling is the highest act of service. Because, and maybe even more so if you're feeling vulnerable and a little bit like, oh, I'm really sure I can help you, but I'm not sure how to say it, because you're being brave and courageous, and that's got a kinetic energy too, right? So our number one mistake is that we don't make offers or invitations directly or as often as we could be, because we're afraid. Why is that our number one mistake? Why does that happen? Why do we do that? Because we don't want to be pushy. It feels vulnerable. And maybe we're not clear on exactly how to say it. How do we create the messaging flow so that it feels like a natural next step? And then how do we actually say it? And honestly, then how do we follow up and talk about it and go all the way to yes? Right? These are all relationships. These are all conversations. This is not about being pushy and icky. And honestly, we have been told again and again that it is our webinar and our freebie and our signature program and our signature talk and our master classes and all of these digital assets that need to do the selling for us. And it can often keep us from making those direct offers because we're so caught up in all these different moving parts. This is my story. I'm singing my own song. That's why I came up with scattershot visibility. I was so busy doing all the things. I wasn't actually able to focus. I didn't have the time or the bandwidth to have conversations and connection and curiosity about what are you experiencing and how can I help you? Oh, wow, I relate to that. I've actually transcended some of that. I have some suggestions for you. Do you want to hear them? Right? When it's that natural and that's easy, it becomes awkward not to make offers. Okay, so the other thing that is underneath, I've got 3 more things of reasons why, top reasons why we don't make offers as often as we could. So one of them touches on our own insecurity about worthiness. What if I can't get them the results? What if they don't get the results? What if I, offer to help them and they make this investment in me and they don't get the results? Well, they're not making an investment in you. They're making an investment in them. And without help, their results are going to be further away, harder to get, and may never happen. So addressing your own sense of worthiness, remember, you are worthy simply because you exist. Here's an up level for that. Your business is worthy simply because you want to. All right. So when we're afraid or not sure if it's good enough, or not sure if we can charge that much, or not sure if we can get those results, we have to remember the results are on them. And I have had the privilege of helping probably well over 1,000 people create offers, create courses, create programs, and put those first babies out there in the world. And every single time, without fail, people who have created their first offer and put it out there and sold it have over delivered. Okay? I have never heard anyone say, I didn't put enough in, or I didn't deliver. At most, almost 100% of the time, their clients' experience are what helps them to understand, oh my God, there's so much more value here than I realized. A lot of times they have to take stuff out of their programs. So this feeling of I'm not worthy, is it ready? Am I good enough? Who's going to buy that? Is your inner game work. And the way we start to shift that through implementation is that we put it out there. which means we need the support to get clear on what it is, what the value is, the messaging and the language of how to communicate it, and how to position that conversation so that it would be awkward not to make an offer, right? So that worthiness is huge for us. All right. And sometimes we have this hyper integrity that comes up to compensate for it. Like, well, I can't put it out there unless it's for sure, really, really, and I know, and and I'm going to come in. And that's what makes us over deliver, which is great. It's fine to over deliver, right? That's part of the process. But that you are worthy because you exist. Your business, your vision, your offer is worthy simply because you want to. It's because it's what came through. And so that's, again, getting us back to this self-trust. Most of us need what I call, well, I got it from Julia Cameron, believing mirrors, right? We need mentors, communities, guides who can help us step into that next size of who we are, maybe before we have manifested it on the outside. All right. So that feeling of not worthy, is it worthy? Is it good enough? Am I ready? Who am I to say? Often holds us back on many levels. So any strategy, tactic, tool, platform, technology, funnel that you have is only going to work as well as your own inner game, energetic vibe, your resonancy, your frequency can match. This is why we talk about aligned, inspired marketing. We have to line up with the truth of who we are, which is magnificent. And we have to line up with the people that we're called to serve. And we have to line up with the tools that we're using to express our message. And we have to line up with the language and the results and the messaging of our offers and invitations. So that messaging is one of the other reasons. I've touched on it already, but it's worth pulling out of the soup of why we don't make offers as often as we could. I can't just go out there and be like, dude, buy my stuff, right? So it's the messaging. It's the how do I say it? And this is an art and a little bit of a science, but the science of it is about human relationship and connection. It's pretty basic communication. Yes, there are tools of persuasion, and yes, there are NLP ways of getting that languaging dialed in. There's all kinds of techniques, okay? When you start with trust of who you are, your own internal owning of who you are, your willingness to show up and play bigger than you maybe think you have gotten lined up with completely, a little bit outside your comfort zone, and then working on your messaging, the actual art of how do I say it? So that is part of what we'll do in our deep dive next week. Starting Monday, we're kicking off your inspired offers, and we're going to activate your superpower imagination. We're going to help you get clear on what your next inspired invitation is and the languaging of that, and how the languaging of that can be like a beacon to those people that are calling to you. We won't have time to go into all of the positioning of it, but we are going to have 5 live interactive calls with Megan and I. Megan is our head coach here. She's my head coach. We're going to get together and work with you for 5 calls. If you can only make one of these calls, it's going to be worth your time. You can still access all the recordings and all the training. So this is going to be about messaging. How do I craft it? How do I, the positioning we can touch on, right? But how do I use my inspiration, my alignment, understand the languaging of my clients? How do I say it so that it feels as easy as the next natural step in a conversation, so that it's harder not to do than it is to do? Okay. Messaging is another thing. How would I say that? And how would that lead? And how do I turn that conversation into an enrollment conversation, right? And there's a lot of judgment and icky feelings around, like, I don't want to be like scamming people or tricking people or manipulating people. And you don't have to. And that's where a lot of the tactics and tools can feel out of alignment. You got to find your own mojo and your own words, and you got to line up with that, and you got to line up with the results that you can get, and then articulate, right? We talk about the choreography of your message and all your marketing, and that's part of your offers too. So that you're mastering the choreography means that you can find the thoughts, you have the words, you're present and connecting, and it's relational, and you're in service in that offer. So Not knowing what to say is another reason why we don't make as many offers as we could. The last reason that I want to just touch on, it's not really why we don't make offers, but it's one of the things that derails our progress in consistent business revenue. And that is that we work so hard and we put this offer together and we finally try and go out there and like find the people to talk to, or we build the funnel, or we have the speaking gig, or whatever the thing is that we're going to do to grow our audience, right? And we put that offer out there and we don't get the results that we thought we would or that we wanted. And so what we do, and this is where the mistake comes in, this is the thing that keeps you trying to crack the code, is that then we say, oh, well, I tried that and it didn't work. So then I'm going to do a different offer. Okay. Changing seats, shifting gears before we have tuned into what is the truth about what we do and what we want to offer. And just because the offer didn't work, there's so many little places where we could up level or get curious and pull apart to see like, well, what did I do? There's so many places where maybe it didn't quite resonate here or there that we can up level. And I'll tell you flat out, a lot of the time we have to up level in here. We have to up level our expectation. We have to up level our confidence. And that's where having support and mentoring is really critical. You can't do this through the freebie mentoring plan or through this program, that program, and this program. So changing gears too soon, trying an offer and then, oh, well, that didn't work. So I'm going to create this other thing now. All right. Well, what didn't work? Can we shift a title? Can we shift the action? Are we talking to the right people? Right. And so that gets clear as you hold your focus a little bit and stay with something and have that mentoring and community and sounding board and safe place to spitball and grow. And I see where your energy is at and how you were lining up with it in order to evolve. And you may not need to change everything, right? You might just want to change the messaging or shift a little bit here and a little bit there. So sometimes we just think, oh, well, I tried that and it didn't work. We do that with platforms. We do it with courses. Well, I tried having a podcast and that didn't work. And I tried doing a course and that didn't work. And I tried this. I tried doing a masterclass and that didn't work. Okay. Well, what did work? How can we get curious? What can we change? And that's where you really need that outside eyes and that community support. So the last thing I wanted to talk to you today, and we've been talking about it all day already, but I said I'd tell you the single most important thing that you need in order to continue to grow your business and thrive no matter what's going on in the world outside and around you. All right. There's a lot of talk about how noisy it is online. And I'm getting messages like, I have to just go offline for 3 weeks and detox. I'm like, well, like, can you find a balance or a rhythm so that you don't have to detox, right? Is the next question. But there's a lot of talk about the noise and there's a lot of talk about the economy. So the number one thing that you need in order to thrive in your business, in any economy, no matter what's going on in the world around you, is your offer. Is honing in the language, honing in all the different pieces of how do you grow your audience and how do you talk to them and teach them and how do you actually even create a system that works for taking those conversations to have the people who are looking for you go, hey, can I talk to you about that? And have the language available to you where you can say, yeah, sure. So this is what's going on. How's it going in your business? Have you tried 62 different programs and piecemeal things or freebie marketing mentoring plan? And it's not working. And maybe you're getting frustrated. Maybe you want more sales. Maybe you want more clients. Maybe you want better relationship, whatever they're looking for. And if you can help them, being willing to say, would you like to hear how I can help? And this is how we do it. And this is the investment. Is that a good fit for you? Right? So the single most important thing you can have is your offer lined up, right? And there's a lot of different pieces to that puzzle when you're growing a business. That's why I say, when in doubt, a lot of people are worried about, I invested in all these things and none of them worked, or I paid for this high level that and it didn't work. It's cumulative. And when you line up with meaning, you will find the value. There are no coincidences. There are co-creative incidents. And So you can get even more value, and you'll discover hidden value as you start to hone into your aligned. This is what we do here. You aligning up with who you are and stepping into the next size of who you are, because you're more than you often know. Most of us are, when we're ever expanding, right? And then lining up with your audience, lining up with the tools that you use, and allowing yourself to pulse it out there and hone and up level and learn and evolve your message through implementation. Okay. And having that consistent support. That's why our main way of supporting people is a year of messaging and implementation support, so that you can stay the course and hone in and get better and better as you go, and get those results fast in the first 90 days, as often as possible. But then have, like, how are we systemizing it? What can we up level? And honestly, I think we need help to stay focused on one thing and not chuck the baby out and try something else when we don't have the big bang results that everybody in their marketing online is telling us we can get. All right. So the mistake that we make is not making offers as often, as easily, or as well as we could be. The reasons why is we don't want to be pushy. It feels vulnerable, and we're not clear on how to say it. We're not clear on what we're offering or the results. We don't feel worthy. We're not sure it's good enough. We're not sure how to actually articulate the words of it, the messaging, or we think, I tried that, it didn't work, and we switch before we really know what didn't work, why didn't it work, and then having a way to sift and sort, and not necessarily throw everything out, but evolve the offer itself. So that's our training for today. If this is speaking to you, if you know you're not making offers and invitation as easily as you can, I'm going to jump in and see who's commenting here. We have this training coming up inside my Power Up Your Presence group. You have to sign up and register in order to get access to 5 live coaching calls every day next week. We'll get together. If you miss one, there's a recording, there's a replay. You're also going to get access to this course beyond the week. So you get access to the whole course. And I was going to show you guys. Yay! I bet that's Terry. I can't see who that is. So I was going to go ahead and show you some of the course that's included, and plus we're going to do these live mentoring calls, and there's even a VIP upgrade if you want to have that one-on-one support to start to talk about what do you need in place in order to have more people to make that offer too. All right, that's what we do in our Dare to Soar Accelerator 2. So I'm going to share our screen and just show you real quick to our membership site, which looks like this, and you'll have access to the Your Inspired Offers course. And each day we'll release a new training. The trainings are about 10 minutes. And then there's an exercise that you can do to actually implement what you learn right away, because that's where the magic is. You can do that part in less than 15 minutes a day for the most part. You watch the training, you'll get an email with a specific prompt. You jump into the group and make your prompt. There's prizes for people who post each day. There's a grand prize that is off the charts, full of value, including deep dive one-on-one time with me. Why do we do prizes? To help you focus. I know there's a lot going on, but if you're not having all the sales and revenue you want, your offer is the place to look first, okay? And your confidence around making it. So you're going to get access. You'll get one of these videos opened up to you each day. You'll get access to the replays that you participate in. And we're also including, let me see here. I think I opened it. 2 of our playbooks combined. I bundled them together just for this specific invitation, so that you're going to get the Inspired Invitation Playbook, which helps you to look at what you can offer, how to call it in from your higher aligned self, how to create your irresistible invitation. We're also going to include some of the next steps in the Inspired Selling Inventory, shift your relationship to selling and what that can be. I bundled in the Inspired Visibility Playbook, which is right out of our event that we do, the What to Say to 100K and Beyond event. So this is about how, once you have your offer crafted, you got to get visible, right? And this is about how do you have inspired, aligned visibility. And it talks about visibility as a practice, some of the things. This is a powerful clearing statement, the 10 pillars of inspired visibility. So all of those things are included this time around, because I'm not interested in giving you like a quick hit. We're going to give you some quick hits because they're satisfying and they shift your momentum into a success and a win momentum. Well, I'm also interested in you having the higher level, longer results. There's only so much we can pack, even with the mentoring sessions, into 1 week. And we're focusing on offers because it's the linchpin of your business. Your business model needs to know what your offer is. You don't need a bunch of offers. You don't need low, middle, high. We talk about low, middle, high in the training, but we're giving you an avalanche of support, community, and high level coaching, because just consuming content and information is an epidemic. And it's so easy to gobble up the content. I've done it for years myself. I did it for years. And we have to stop consuming the content or looking for the thing that's going to make us finally feel like we're good enough, or we're ready, or we're clear enough, or it's lined up enough. We have to pick and stick. And then there's a whole bunch of other support steps that need to happen. But when you have your offer, like, you have to get visible, you have to have people to talk to, you need a consistent, streamlined plan, so you're not just like hopping all over the pond, being visible for visibility's sake, right? We want it to, as I said, lead to the invitation. So there's a lot more than we can cover in this week. But when you have your offer deep dialed in, the languaging, the clarity, the where to be visible, the how to be visible, the words to use to be visible, to speak and resonate and position that natural next step as the invitation, that's what you're doing all day, right? Those are the next steps. So if you are already doing a lot of things and you kind of have your offers, come and play and we'll hone that offer. Consider the VIP option, where you can have that one-on-one with Megan, where she can actually dive into your specific situation and circumstances and help you pinpoint what's the thing that you can implement now that's going to help you accelerate your results. Okay, so that's why we're starting with offers, but I didn't want to be like another content gobble up course. I really want you to get real results in real time. So that's what we're doing next week in the Power Up Your Presence group. If you're on the business page, there's a link up top. Learn more. It'll take you to the information about the course. We're having calls at 2 different times to accommodate a couple different time zones. If you miss a call, the recording and replay, you'll have access to this course and these calls for the lifetime of us hosting that content. So you can review. It's a great process. Even the people that are in the Dare to Soar Accelerator, I'm often like, go visit this course. You can go through the whole process in an hour and it can help you up level. So that is the foundation. And while you're with us playing, if you're in the Power Up Your Presence group, you're going to see this happening. So I really do urge you to come in and get signed up to play with us so you can have the full benefit. And while you're playing with us, for those of you who already know you need more high level support, you already know that, okay, I've been doing all the things and I really need to focus and have that sustainable increase in my revenue. Your revenue is tied to your manifestation of your calling. The more income you make, the more impact you make, because you can be supported. You can focus on the higher level things. There's lots of reasons. We're not just in it for the money here. No one I know here is. We're in it for the transformation, and you get to help more people when your business is thriving. So while we're in this course, you'll have an opportunity to talk with us about continuing in the Dare to Soar to 6 figures and beyond, if that's a fit for you and if you want to. But you'll hone in your offer either way. So that's our training for today. If you have any questions ever, I want you to message me on Facebook, shoot us an email, or comment in any of the comments. I know we're streaming on our YouTube, we're streaming on our business page, and we're in the Power Up Your Presence group. Definitely come over and join Power Up Your Presence if you're not there already. If you are in the coaching, in the transformation space, and you want to reach and serve more people, have more revenue by being more you, that is our conversation all day, every day. And I do these free trainings in there every week. We've been taking them out into the bigger world the last few weeks, but there's all kinds of bonuses and special trainings on offer in there. Until then, I wish you blessings. I hope for you to give voice to your vision. And I'm going to close with a blessing that came to me when I was holding back and not stepping into the reality that I want to create a business that's going to create real impact and real transformation for as many people as I can, not just from me, but from my business. And I was at that raw and ragged edge, feeling vulnerable and stretched. Okay. So one of the things, just like the messaging I do for clients and for myself, like hearing the words come together, sometimes my biggest epiphanies have come by hearing songs, and they're not things I make up. They're really things I receive. And that's how I receive my business strategy. That's how I receive marketing and messaging. And so I'm going to close with a blessing if you're still here, with a song that came through when I was at that raw and ragged edge, ready to expand. And it was often making offers and invitations for the people who might be saying yes is why we show up to sell. And that's all built into the workbook that we're bundling in and the training that we'll do. But when you do it when you remember that your own growth uplifts and helps the whole world grow, and you're stepping into that fullness of who you are in your business, you have the power to impact lives and people you never know. And so this is a song that came through a few years ago for me when I was on the raw and ragged edge, and I'll say goodnight for today. It goes like this. God, hear me. God, source, universe, help me raise my voice. Help me make a choice to share the gift I bring. God hears me, helps me take a stand, walks with me hand in hand, and I will sing. Help me be a champion for the silent. Help me heal the fears that keep me small. God hears me and fills my words with power. In any dark hour, I will sing. Your business is your song. Your message is your song. Your offers are the refrain. So make them, make them, make them.